Do you feel like you had a fair court hearing and dealing with the court, the prosecution? I know that you didn't actually go to trial. You were dealing with all that stuff. Did you feel like you had a fair, treatment, or did you feel like the entire system was biased against you?
I think the entire system was. I mean, I got raided in 21. So they raided my home and took all my electronics in 21. I didn't get charged or anything. So for 2.5 years, I was on the quiet skies list.
Okay.
So without being charged, right? You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Yep. I'm searched every time at the TSA checkpoint. When I go to the gate, 6 agents are there to check me again. Mind you, I hadn't been charged. And I was on that list before they raided my house, because they raided in June. My first trip in 21 in April is when they started doing this. And then they didn't arrest me until it was November 30th of 23, coming back from the Lady Ballers premiere for Daily Wire. Mm-hmm. And they arrested me on the tarmac at Burbank Airport. And they ripped me away from my wife. I mean, they came 4 agents. They came like I was like El Chapo. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what? Then you go into the court case and you start to go through that process. And, thank God that people have been really generous, because I was like not guilty. But in the long run, it's cost me close to, 180.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big part of what they were doing. And that's something that Trump said when he issued the pardon, was that the people who have gone through this have already been broken.
Yeah. Oh,
they've already been financially ruined. They've already been punished through this legal process.
That's why I asked if you felt like the system had treated you fairly or not, because of the fact that essentially it seemed like it was kind of common knowledge that the punishment or the process was the punishment.
Yep.
And that's something that you hear frequently surrounding this topic. And I wondered your experience.
Well, and like I said to you earlier, we told the judge, we're like, look, hey, he's going to do this.
Yeah.
Can we just push it out and just kind of leave it alone till April, right? She said, no, nothing's official yet, meaning that I would have to fly myself, my wife, and my child out to D.C. We had to get a place. We had to rent a car, all these things during inauguration week at that.
Yeah.
So everything's up. So that's part of knowing that's what we're going to do. And at 9 a.m. on the 21st, they're like, all right, case dismissed. And you're like, oh, I could not afford to not show up. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, that's the thing.
There's a viral clip, I think it's Chris Matthews, and he's saying, look at what Trump does when he gets in. He pardons all of the insurrectionists or whatever, right, showing us whose side he's on. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, Trump is effectively a J6er himself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They were trying to put him in prison the whole time. They tried to put him in prison again, and they were using everything that happened on J6 to call him a traitor who committed sedition and insurrection.
Right.
So they could destroy his life, raid his home. So when he went to pardon the J6ers, I don't think he was really, it wasn't from an outside perspective. It was literally from these people attacked us. Yeah. And so now he's firing them all.
Well, let me give you an example, because I know you've been swatted. And,
yeah, like 13, 15 times.
And you can relate to, honestly, guys, the amount of just abuse that it feels like when you have your government kick in your front door.
Yeah.
When you didn't
we never had any
do
doors
anything.
Get kicked in.
Well, just people showing up in that way. But they came in so heavy, 15 agents with guns, ARs, in my face, in my 3- and 6-year-old godson's face.
That's so crazy.
For 71 seconds in a doorway. And so Trump knows what that's like, because they went through his wife's underwear drawer.
And she's still mad about it. I blame her.
I think people don't, you don't see the rage Trump has and the anger.
Yeah.
He's tweeted about it, and he said these people went to my home. But you make a great point about what it's like when they show up to your house.
Man,
Donald Trump, let's talk about his classified documents. Trump had a bunch of boxes of knickknacks, like daily briefings from when he was president, that he probably didn't think twice about.
Right.
They were scattered about his home in Mar-a-Lago, and the papers were not even properly
organized.
Yeah, they weren't. What's the word?
Collated.
Collated. Right. Yeah. That's exactly the word.
I used to work in an office.
Yeah, that's a good word.
They were literally,
that's an office word.
Page 1 was there, and page 7 was there. The feds came in, collected them all, put them on the floor, and then took their own handmade confidentiality forms and put them on top, and took a picture, staging the evidence. Mm-hmm. Joe Biden, meanwhile, admitted He retained classified information illegally for the purpose of writing a book to make money.
Right. As vice
And they
president.
And
went-
kept it in multiple offices and his garage.
And so then Donald Trump, minding his own business, has law enforcement, FBI, raid his home, his wife's underwear drawer, his son's room. Oh, boy. I don't think we've yet begun to see the rage that is Donald Trump's revenge and retribution.
Well, it's interesting, this firing of all of these attorneys, because we recently saw 7 prosecutors from the Southern District Court of New York resign over the dropping of the Adams indictment, which I thought was really interesting and definitely precedes something like this, where he's like, if everyone's just going to be against what we do in the Department of Justice, then you can all just go home. That's also fine.
Right. I think actually some of these people who are resigning, I think that's the precursor to something else that's coming.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Because
They do think that Adams is guilty. They do think they had enough evidence for him.
Well, I think
So when the Adams stuff was coming out,
the turkey stuff,
people were pointing out that it was like marginal stuff you often see from a lot of
very marginal.
Politicians. And it was kind of just like, really? Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.